Tonight on CTV News at 6. New pledges of support for an Indigenous affordable housing project in North Bay.
These are all passionate people that are working towards a common goal.
More than $4 million in funding is announced, with all three governments kicking in. Plus, the long weekend is here, but many parts are still dealing with high water.
Unfortunately, the road is still flooded and MTO hasn't opened it back up again.
Business owners say they're hoping many out there will support local. And many on the island are supporting a move in central Manitoulin last night as council votes to move ahead with restoring a roof to a treasured local facility.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Rimo and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tony is off. The new Indigenous affordable housing project is coming to North Bay. More than $4 million was announced this afternoon. All three levels of government are contributing funds towards the final cost of the build. CTV's Eric Tashner starts us off tonight.
Recognizing that solving Canada's housing crisis is a joint effort, all three levels of government are stepping up to fund a new Indigenous housing complex. $4.5 million is coming from the Canada-Ontario Community Housing Initiative.
All the more important to make sure that we have projects like this in urban areas.
These are all passionate people that are working towards a common goal: to build homes.
A 3-story, 60-unit affordable Indigenous housing unit will be built on this vacant piece of land, providing both 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units, along with a common area for tenants. The total construction cost is $22.3 million. The units will be developed and operated by the Ontario Aboriginal Housing Services, which owns the property. People will be moving in from all walks of life.
People that are currently housed that are overhoused and living on top of each other in overcrowded situations. They could be coming from people that are living in subpar conditions.
The project has been in the works since 2017. The city's share will be $500,000 through the Housing Accelerator Fund.
The overall wait list yesterday was at 2,541 people that are actually waiting for market and affordable rent.
The latest Nipissing district-wide homeless count conducted last fall found over 450 people experiencing homelessness. And of that, over a third of the homeless population self-identified as Indigenous.
They're not considered on equal playing field when they're submitting applications for mainstream housing.
They have to have somewhere to go, and this is just another part of the puzzle that we've been trying to put together.
Tenants will be able to access health and child care services at the adjacent North Bay Indigenous Hub. Construction of the project is expected to start by early fall, with an opening date scheduled for February 2028. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Pauline Rochefort also making a major funding announcement this morning to support manufacturing in North Bay. More than $2.2 million from FedNor and the Regional Tariff Response Initiative will support 5 businesses. Premier Mining Products Incorporated and Pilot Diamond Limited were the major beneficiaries, with roughly $1 million each to help purchase equipment and fund upgrades to their facilities. The Central Manitoulin Council chambers were packed last night, many looking for the results on the vote of a notice of motion that would reinstall a low-E ceiling in the Providence Bay Arena. Many still upset with Council's mixed decision to remove the ice pad from the facility.
I know it's $48,000, but we're way under budget in the whole repairs of both arenas. So it's going to be a long time, in my opinion, that we have a multi-purpose recreational center for the municipality. I think we have to baby our arenas and keep them going.
The notice of motion went on to pass, but was amended to at least have staff complete repairs to the facility before the roof is reinstalled. There's also talk of a public committee being struck now in hopes of having the community come together around a solution. Given this is the unofficial start of summer, tourism is kicking into high gear, but in the French River area, some tourism operators say their bottom line has been impacted due to recent flooding. CTV's Angela Gemmell has more tonight from Albin.
Caitlin Nobbs prepares bait for a phone order that just came in. Normally, her store would be busy with customers stocking up for the long weekend. Instead, it's quiet.
Unfortunately, the road is still flooded and MTO hasn't opened it back up again. Even just a one-lane access would be nice, but we're stuck in a closed road zone, so our hands are tied.
Nobbs owns Great Escape Cabins along the Murdoch River. The year-round business is located on Highway 607 in the municipality of French River, which has been under a state of emergency for the past 6 weeks due to flooding. The mayor says it's been exhausting for residents and especially for tourism operators whose livelihoods have been impacted.
This flooding is just not letting up at all. So some people can't open, some are partially open, but it's tough for them.
Nobbs says this is why shopping local is important.
If we don't receive that continued support as a small business, these businesses start to close.
Nobbs says for customers needing supplies but who don't want to risk being fined for driving on a closed road, she's offering to deliver those orders on the other side of the road closure sign using her side-by-side.
We just keep saying you dig in, you keep going, and you persevere.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Transportation says safety is its top priority, adding, "We recognize the impact this closure has on travelers and communities. Ministry staff and our maintenance contractor are actively monitoring conditions." For other tourism operators in the French River, opening up for the summer could take a few more weeks.
If everything goes well and we don't get any rain or very little rain, we should be okay within 10 days, maybe 14.
Angela Gemmel, CTV News, near Albin.
Speaking of high water levels, as Angela alluded to, the state of emergency remains in effect for several communities, including West Nipissing and Mattawa. West Nipissing has posted a list of what boat launches are open. Some, it says, continue to be affected by high water levels. The museum launch, the marina launch, the launches in Laving and at St. Jean Beach. The water is still too high to install municipal docks. In the meantime, docks have been installed at Cache Bay, Lake Sheboygan, Lake Muskesong, and Holditch Street. More information is available on the town website. Mattawa posting on their social media that high water levels in the upper Ottawa and Mattawa rivers are receding but remain high, saying in part for this reason the state of emergency for the town of Mattawa is maintained. Also, it will be reevaluated next week. Lake Nipissing and Lake Temagami remain under flood warnings for the long weekend. The MNR saying today both lakes remain high and they are urging recreational boaters to be cautious and to stay clear of dams. With the recent flooding, waterways in the region could have debris, including logs, docks, and other items. The flood warning has been issued until May 19th. The city of North Bay says it's winding down sandbag filling stations due to decreasing demand and stabilizing conditions on Lake Nipissing. It's no doubt good news for those along the shoreline that have been watching it closely. Existing stock of pre-filled sandbags remain available at Champlain Park and Sunset Park. However, those sites will no longer be restocked or restaffed. Officials say they're urging or continuing to monitor this situation, and while stable, the lake levels are still high and residents should be cautious around the water. Drivers heading out this weekend are getting a break at the gas pumps over the next few days. Here are some of the gas prices across the north we're seeing from GasBuddy.com. The average price of gas in Sudbury is $186.9, $176.6 in Sault Ste. Marie, $178.3 in North Bay, $191.9 in Timmins, $185.9 in Elliott Lake, and $186.2 in New Liskeard. Speaking of gas and summer fun, time for our first check on weather. Here's CTV's Rick Wyman. And Rick, the people asked for a long weekend weather, and I think you're delivering.
Unusual circumstances, though, considering the flooding and the after effects as well, Ian, but we'll try to get in the best weather that we can. Our systems map, courtesy of Environment Canada, we've got some precipitation moving in overnight. And again, that will continue tomorrow. 40% chance of showers right across the board throughout the Northeast. But then again, some sunshine on Sunday, some warmer temperatures. We'll have some warmer temperatures, then more precipitation, and perhaps a dip in the temperature by about Wednesday, Thursday. Details coming up a little bit later on.
Thanks so much, Rick. There's more to come on CTV News at 6. For now, let's go to a live shot of Highway 400 tonight. This shot courtesy of our colleagues down at CTV Barrie. It's coming from their tower on Essa Road. And you can see there is still a long line of cars waiting to make its way up north. What kind of weather will they be in store for? We'll find out more from Rick in a moment. Stay with us. You're watching CTV Northern Ontario.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Nearly $20,000 in cash and drugs have been seized following a drug investigation on Brunswick House First Nation. That's according to the Anishinaabe-Aski Police Service, which was assisted by the OPP. According to investigators, a home was searched on the Nation where police found a variety of illicit drugs, a shotgun, and almost $9,000 in cash. 4 people are now facing multiple charges. And 2 people are facing charges in Elliott Lake after OPP uncovered roughly $26,000 in cocaine. According to police, the pair were charged after a traffic stop on Highway 108. A 55-year-old and 27-year-old, both of Elliott Lake, are now facing trafficking charges. A landmark ruling by the Supreme Court of Canada today recognizing intimate partner violence as its own legal basis to sue for civil damages. Centered on the case of a woman who was abused during her 16-year marriage, it paves the way for financial compensation beyond assault, battery, and emotional distress. CTV's Adrian Gabriel on the legal significance and what it means for victims.
I found myself in a very bad predicament.
At 17, Wendy Butler says she thought she'd met her Prince Charming, though for nearly 2 decades, she says she was trapped in an abusive relationship.
I didn't tell anyone because of shame. It took me a long time to leave.
What the mother of 2 says she experienced went beyond physical bruising.
The abuse that I endured, it was physical, emotional, and psychological. And I lost myself.
Today, Canada's highest court ruled in favor of creating a new tort of intimate partner violence. A tort is a legal term for a civil claim that allows a person to seek damages after being harmed.
The law already gave victims the ability to seek redress for physical assault and for sexual assault.
This new tort recognizes that intimate partner violence isn't always physical or sexual.
Coercion and manipulation, humiliation, isolation.
As part of Justice Nicholas Kazirur's 200-page ruling, the case briefing outlines that a victim must show that their partner intentionally engaged in abusive conduct and that the conduct amounted to coercive control when viewed in context.
Today's a big day.
It is a very big day.
For survivors who can now seek justice after years of being controlled, confined, and psychologically harmed.
There have been few, if any, decisions in my 25-year legal career that has been as consequential to the field of gender-based violence as this one today.
If there's someone watching right now who's in a violent relationship, what would your message be to them?
There's hope. There's a chance for new beginnings.
This new legal pathway for survivors will develop and evolve in the courts over the years and decades to come. Many hope it will also drastically decrease intimate partner violence and abuse of all kinds. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Angus, Ontario.
Women fleeing abuse just gained another resource to help get them to a better tomorrow. A new partnership in Algoma will bring legal experts specializing in housing rights to the Community Connection Centre by Women in Crisis. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more.
A celebratory event marked the beginning of the new Trauma-Informed Housing Law Partnership. On the second Wednesday of each month, the Algoma Community Legal Clinic will now host a women's housing rights clinic at the Women in Crisis-run Community Connection Centre.
The primary goal of the Women's Housing Legal Clinic is to provide legal support for women experiencing housing law issues, so to prevent homelessness, to protect their long-term tenancies, as well as, if necessary, a safe way to end their tenancy if they're fleeing abuse.
Up to 5 lawyers and paralegals will rotate in the new effort with trauma-informed support from crisis staff. Officials with the legal clinic say the venture is a perfect fit, with domestic violence being a major contributor to homelessness for women.
We know from police statistics and crime statistics that with the major economic impact, like the layoffs at the plant, we're seeing increased domestic violence situations, and we want to be, at the ready. Who cares really about the legal argument, and who cares really about rights? if you're not safe, if you're not physically safe, there's nothing further to discuss.
This partnership adds to a suite of services at the Community Connection Centre. Since beginning operations last fall, it provides a safe space for counseling, referrals, and family law supports for women fleeing abuse.
When she may be full of that fear and that unknown, it means she can come to a place, be supported, not have to tell her story continuously over and over to different agencies. She can come here and we can reach out to all of the agencies that she will need to support her in moving forward.
The new partnership is also preparing to take their work beyond the Soo. Family law experts from the centre will join the Algoma Community Legal Clinic when it heads to Elliott Lake for a housing rights clinic sometime in the near future. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Back now for a check on the current conditions with Rick Wyman. Rick, I'm hoping there's going to be some gardening weather this weekend.
Bit of a push. Frost last night in Sudbury and North Bay. Hold that thought for just a moment. We'll talk about more about that aspect more during the 7-day forecast. Forecast radar, we've got some precipitation, as we had mentioned earlier. Now you want to see the current conditions. Not a bad night. 18 in Moosonee, some cloud cover. Cochrane, 16, sun and cloud in Timmins as well. 16 in Kapuskasing, some clouds. 19 in Chapleau, sun and clouds. Wawa, sunny skies, 18. In the Soo, we've got sunshine as well at 21. How about Parry Sound? 14 as you take that drive down Highway 69. Mainly cloudy North Bay, 16. 19 Temiskaming Shores, sun and cloud. 20 in Kirkland Lake with cloud cover. Now 17 Greater Sudbury, mainly cloudy. Sun and cloud Espanola at 20. 15 Elliott Lake, sunshine. And Gore Bay, 11 with the sunshine. So you want to start gardening. Well, my wife told me last night, Ian, to hold off for a while. So again, you're going to have to wait. Wait till maybe the first week of June. Back to you.
I don't know if I can wait. I'll try. Thanks, Rick. Next on CTV News at 6. A big shift from the Ontario government as it starts asymptomatic testing for people for the hantavirus. And the federal government reaches a deal with Alberta for a new pipeline. Ontario's Ministry of Health is now testing asymptomatic people with connections to hantavirus and its stricken cruise ship. It's a shift from the government's position earlier this week as health officials continue to grapple with the role of testing and containing the spread of the rodent-borne illness. The province said the 3 high-risk travelers, 2 who were on the cruise and 1 who was on the same flight as a person who died from the virus, will stay in strict isolation regardless of their result. But 7 low-risk contacts will be able to stop their 45-day isolation if they test negative, while daily monitoring continues. Ottawa and Alberta are one step closer to a pipeline. The federal government and Alberta signing a deal today that could see the start of construction on a new pipeline as early as next fall. The West Coast pipeline from Alberta across British Columbia to the Pacific Coast is something Alberta has long been pushing for.
And I'm happy to share with Albertans that we'll be signing an agreement today that clearly sets out a pathway to the construction of a new oil pipeline to Asian markets, commencing as early as September 1st, 2027. The proposed West Coast oil pipeline would transport more than 1 million barrels of oil per day.
We're building trust of investors, that Alberta and Canada are reliable and attractive destinations where opportunities are plentiful, the rules are clear, and one project means one review. The trust of Asian countries who want our energy because they know that we are a safe, stable, reliable partner in a world that is anything but.
The deal also includes an agreement on reducing the price of carbon, which could save oil companies hundreds of billions of dollars in set timelines. The potential pipeline project would be designated a project of national interest by October 1st of this year if all conditions are met. Indigenous groups and British Columbia are also central to this. The main points of the deal are construction approval of the pipeline by the fall of next year. Alberta wants oil flowing and by 2033, 2034, a commitment to respect Indigenous rights, and there is still no private sector investor that has stepped up to pay for the project. There's also a carbon pricing agreement of $130 a ton by 2040. Ontario's top court has dismissed an appeal filed by former fashion mogul Peter Nygard, upholding his sexual assault convictions and prison sentence. The 84-year-old was convicted of 4 counts of sexual assault in 2023 and sentenced to 11 years in prison, less time served. The charges stem from allegations from the 1980s until the mid-2000s, as multiple women, one of whom was 16 years old at the time of the offense, accused Nygard of sexually assaulting them at his company's headquarters in Toronto. Nygard's appeal argued his sentence was excessive and the trial judge made several errors in law. The Ontario Appeals Court didn't agree and also found no reason to interfere with Nygard's sentence. The former fashion mogul still faces a trial on sex charges in Quebec, as well as extradition to the United States on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. He has denied all allegations against him. Diplomacy is currently at a standstill between the U.S. and Iran. Iran's former foreign minister says the process is suffering from a lack of trust.
So the most important issue right now is the question of trust. We cannot trust Americans at all.
The foreign minister says Iran wants clear and precise terms before any deal is reached. He also says all vessels can coordinate with the Iranian Navy and pass through the Strait of Hormuz, except those at war with Iran. The dispute over that crucial shipping passage has sent global oil prices skyrocketing. The Americans are threatening to restart the war at any time unless Iran agrees to a deal. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump is on his way home from Beijing, where he and Chinese President Xi Jinping discussed the Iran situation.
We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. We want the straits open. We're closing it now. They closed it, then we closed it on top of them. But we want the straits open, and we want them to get it ended because it's a crazy thing. They're a little bit crazy, and it's no good. Can't have it. They cannot have a nuclear weapon.
No major deals on trade or international policy have been announced. Some said the Chinese had the cards here. There are also no signs that Beijing is willing to use its clout with Iran to work toward meeting U.S. demands. A White House readout of Thursday's conversation between Trump and Xi says the two countries agreed that the Strait of Hormuz must remain open and that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. There is also no word on whether any progress has been made on the contentious issue of Taiwan. In Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky visited the site of a Russian strike in Kyiv, where the death toll has risen to 24 victims. Yesterday, an apartment was struck in Ukraine's capital, forcing rescue crews to search through the rubble for survivors and bodies. The operation lasted over 28 hours. 3 children were among the dead. Dozens of people were also injured. There's more news ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick Wyman. Rick, I'm hoping for sun and warmth.
A little bit of everything. How about that? You'll have to settle for that right here, right now. Long weekend. Let's get to it. Forecast radar as issued by Environment Canada. Let's begin with some precipitation, Ian Campbell. Overnight into tomorrow, 40% chance of showers right across the board throughout the Northeast. Sunny skies on Sunday, some warmer temperatures, and let's get to maybe some conditions overnight. As you can see, chance of showers Sudbury, more of the same in the Sault, Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, and North Bay. So all with the chance of showers, 30 or 40%. Meanwhile, in Moosonee, chance of showers at 40, 60%. Kapuskasing and Hearst, at Wawa, cloudy skies, chance of showers, Gore Bay and Parry Sound. Gradual clearing. How about that? Now your 7-day numbers. Sudbury Nickel Belt. Here we go. Chance of showers tomorrow at 20. 18 Sunday. Not too bad with the sunshine. Monday, sun and cloud. Long weekend, 23. That's good for a lot of people. Tuesday, though, Wednesday, chance of showers. 40% both days, 19 and 10. Starts to cool down by Wednesday. Back up again Thursday at 15, then 16. So you'll get some sunshine by Thursday as well. In the Sault and Algoma, chance of showers, risk of a thunderstorm, the odd sunny break 18, 20 on Sunday, sunshine, chance of showers for Monday at 18, showers Tuesday 16, all the way back down to 7 Wednesday, chance of showers at 40%. Then Thursday, some sun and cloud at 13, that's below normal, which should be around 17, 18 for the Sault and Algoma. Timmins, Cochrane, and Kapuskasing, chance of showers tomorrow at 40%, risk of a thunderstorm at 22. 15 Sunday. Loads of sunshine. Showers Monday, 15, dropping down to 7 on Tuesday. Showers, chance of sleet, so showers or flurries. Hey, what's up with that on the May 2-4 weekend and its after effects just a couple of days later? Thursday, the big bounce back, 7 to 14, sun and cloud. That's what it should be at around this time of the year. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, chance of showers tomorrow, risk of a thunderstorm at 20, 16 Sunday, sunshine, chance of showers at 40%, 3 consecutive days. You go from 23, 21, back down to 11, back up to 15 Thursday with the sun and cloud, your normal, hovering around 18 for this time of the year. And in North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of showers at 40% tomorrow, 16 your high, 18 Sunday, sunshine, chance of showers all 3 days, 40% the risk, 25, 22, then dropping down to 13 on Wednesday, back up to 14 Thursday, some sun and cloud. And again, that's a few degrees below normal for this time of the year. Carter Brown is back in the driver's seat. Let's have that pick of the day, if you will. This is Beau, the Great Dane. Thank you, Lionel, or should I say Lionel Montroy. Great shot, by the way. Take a look at the background. Thanks, Beau. Enjoy your long weekend. Okay, Sudbury's boil water advisory was in effect recently. And of course, the local health unit is asking if you're prepared for an emergency. Madison Merrier will tell you what you need coming up after the break.
Bill C-218 seeks to stop the scheduled 2027 expansion of medical-assisted dying known as MAID to people whose sole underlying condition is a mental disorder. 3 doctors with leadership roles in psychiatry in Northern Ontario have written a letter to the federal government supporting Bill C-218 and expressing their concerns. CTV's Alana Everson has more tonight.
The letter supporting Bill C-218 was sent to Prime Minister Mark Carney, signed by the current and 2 former chairs of psychiatry at the Northern Ontario School of Medicine University.
Sometimes it can come up with when they're despair, they're down. We cannot say permanently anybody is mentally ill cannot be recoverable.
Dr. Coca has worked in psychiatry for 40 years and says he joined several doctors across Canada in supporting Bill C-218.
Many patients with suicides, families, as well as people with homelessness, severe mental illness, I see that the compassion and caring and all the necessary treatments available, we can always instill hope on them.
In an emailed statement, the Office of the Minister of Health says, the safety and well-being of all Canadians, especially those who are vulnerable, is our government's top priority. The Joint Parliamentary Committee has begun its review of the health system's readiness for MAID, where mental illness is the sole underlying condition, and our government looks forward to the committee's findings.
Those who ask for MAID may be having suicide ideation, so if we go for irrecoverable solution, we are doing disservice to the patients and their families.
Dr. Coca says he would like to see more advocating for more resources for people who are vulnerable because of mental health issues or addictions to make sure they are safe and get the necessary help. Elena Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
A Waterloo tech startup is aiming to improve screening for some of the most common women's health problems. They're working on a non-invasive way to collect biomarkers for early signs of things like cervical cancer and HPV. CTV's Colton Weens visited their labs today to find out more.
This is our product. Slap it on here.
In this University of Waterloo lab, work is underway on a technology that could replace the need for invasive pap smears.
Basically making it so that the people who can't get pap smears or who won't get pap smears are still able to get life-saving screening.
Select Laboratories is working on embedding nanomaterials that could collect diagnostic biomarkers from menstrual blood, hoping it can change the way women are screened for HPV, cervical cancer, and other DNA-based diseases.
We use a patent-pending nanomaterial material that passively collects and stabilizes the genomic DNA within menstrual blood while allowing the blood cells, which are considered contamination for a lot of these tests due to the hemoglobin, to go through, basically collecting the larger cells of interest and the genomic DNA.
Murphy says for many people with the cervix, the fear of getting a pap smear can keep them away from ever getting screened, which could save their life.
Honestly, I hated it. It was really, really bad for me for various reasons. And because of that, I decided to put my nanotechnology engineering degree to use and came up with the idea and founded Select.
I mean, the speculum is a horrible, archaic device that is not made for comfort. It's painful and scary, and if there's any sort of trauma or diseases hanging around, that might make it more painful. I know a lot of people do worry about getting it. I am almost 22 and I've never had a pap smear. Hopefully with this technology, if it gets far enough along by then, I'll never have to get one, and I think that would be amazing.
So far, they've focused on placing the technology on menstrual pads or using menstrual cups, hoping to eventually have a way that works with tampons. But with the right funding and approvals, they believe it could hit the market soon.
I would say anywhere from 1.5 years to 2 years from now would be the earliest. Just, I mean, as a medical device, this is something that's regulated, and so we want to make sure that, you know, it's safe and, you know, effective.
In theory, it absolutely is, because of the material we're using. Has been, you know, used in food safe stuff, but, you know, obviously we need a lot more like clinical studies and feasibility studies to make sure.
The University of Waterloo startup recently won a national student entrepreneurship competition and will compete globally for a $1 million prize.
To any woman who is watching, we're doing this for you. I also want to highlight that if you have an innovation in your mind, don't hesitate. Women's health needs the attention that it deserves, and we're just happy to be on this journey.
Colton Weens, CTV News, Kitchener.
A friendly warning or even a reminder tonight to be prepared, especially after some of the rotten weather we've seen over the past few months. CTV's Madison Merrier has more from Public Health Sudbury and districts.
Record snowfall, flooding, and a recent boil water advisory, all in a short time frame. Officials say it's evidence as to why being ready is so important.
With the recent events that have occurred over the last few weeks, we thought it was very important to remind the community about being prepared, and timing is key. And I think everyone just recently gone through it is listening.
I always keep a case of water now, and just in case. And it wasn't too bad for me because I went out of town last weekend, so I was able to avoid it. So I was lucky.
We haven't yet. No, we haven't personally created a plan since we're unwell, but I'd say like with the schools, there definitely should be better plans put in place.
Emergencies can happen fast, so Public Health Sudbury and districts is advising residents to have kits ready in advance.
There are resources on Government of Canada website, Emergency Management Ontario, the city website, as well as our website, to help people guide them in their plan and things they could need to consider, like their children, their pets, things like that we may not be thinking about.
A 72-hour kit should include everything you need daily, like water, prescriptions, and then more focused items like batteries, flashlight, and a radio. But it is important to replenish and refresh items, including bottled water.
The general guideline is to keep it in a cool, dark location and use it within the 2 years. It's also important to ensure no chemicals or hazardous materials are stored in the same area.
On top of creating an emergency kit for the home, Public Health Sudbury and districts is recommending people create an emergency kit for the go and even one for your vehicle. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Starting next week, ambulance communications officers in the Sudbury Central Ambulance Center will be using a new system to dispatch medical emergency care. The medical priority dispatch system is the standard practice in several regions across the province. It means communications officers will ask more detailed questions to help prioritize the most urgent calls first. Low urgency incidents will be dispatched as soon as possible, and patients will receive follow-up calls to ensure status hasn't worsened. Changes will apply to both the Manitoulin Island and Sudbury district. Meanwhile, North Bay Fire and Emergency Services are warning of a phone scam where the caller requests payment for an outstanding invoice for services. In a press release, the city says neither it nor emergency services typically call for payment. If you receive a call of this nature, hang up and contact the city or emergency services to verify the call. North Bay Police have been notified these calls are circulating. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. We get our first look inside the damaged tennis dome in Sudbury weeks after its collapse under heavy snow. Stay with us. Tennis is all about timing, but right now the Sudbury Indoor Tennis Center is waiting for repairs to the dome to let people get back to playing.
Originally, we were optimistic that we would be open for the summer, and now it just kind of keeps getting delayed to, like, we really believe we'll be open for the fall, but yeah, until we have those quotes and that timeline, we just don't know.
We're getting our first look at the inside of the dome since that massive winter storm and the damage from its collapse. Hull says the courts look to be in good condition, but a resurfacing team will be brought in to correct any possible damages from water and dirt. The majority of the damage occurred to the lighting inside the dome. Sourcing new lights and shipping estimates of up to 6 to 8 weeks is another reason for delays in reopening. Tennis center officials said they're still waiting for insurance to get involved. The Montreal Canadiens are 1 win away from advancing to the Eastern Conference Final after a convincing 6-3 win over the Sabres in Buffalo.
Here's Demonov, who's been sniffing in. Lukin, and they score!
The Habs scored 3 unanswered goals late in the second period to push the Sabres to the brink of elimination. A potentially series-deciding Game 6 goes Saturday night in Montreal, with Montreal leading Buffalo 3-2 in the best-of-7 series.
These two teams, overtime history in the playoffs. Clarity in front, Tim, they score! Montreal steals Game 1 at home.
And the Montreal Victoire drawing first blood in their PWHL Walter Cup final against the Ottawa Charge. Montreal's Nicole Gosling scoring with less than 3 seconds left in regulation to force overtime. Then Abby Rock scored the game winner, the puck bouncing off her cage and into the net. Game 2 in the best-of-5 series goes Saturday afternoon at Place Belle in Laval. The World Cup is just weeks away, and now Canadians can get a piece of the event in their pocket. A new commemorative loonie has been unveiled as Canada gears up to co-host football's biggest tournament. CTV's Craig Krause reports.
The road to the World Cup is no longer just on the pitch. It's now landing in the hands of Canadians, coast to coast.
Ceremonial reveal.
At BC Place on Thursday morning, FIFA officials and the Royal Canadian Mint took to the field to unveil a new commemorative loonie as the clock ticks down toward opening kickoff next month.
The Royal Canadian Mint have created a coin capturing the passion, pride, and excitement that is about to sweep our country.
For the first time in tournament history, 3 countries will share hosting duties, with Vancouver and Toronto set to play host to 13 matches. The loonie, designed by Campbell River artist Glenn Green, features a hat trick of symbolism, featuring the FIFA 2026 emblem, a mosaic maple leaf, and a soccer ball frozen mid-strike. A snapshot of a country ready for its moment under the stadium lights.
That's much better. Thank you.
And for Burnaby native and FIFA Vice President Victor Montagliani, the emotion of what's coming is already hitting home.
I thoroughly enjoyed the visit a few weeks back in Winnipeg, and it was actually not only quite special, it was even emotional.
3 million of the special loonies are now entering circulation, including 2 million colorized versions, turning everyday change into a collector's piece of World Cup fever. And with kickoff now fast approaching, the buzz is building across the country. From BC Place to the world stage, Canada is getting ready to blow the opening whistle on a tournament many hope will deliver last-minute heroics, extra time drama, and a fairy tale finish. Craig Krause, CTV News, Vancouver.
A second round of tickets are now available for FIFA Fan Fest. Toronto has released another batch of free general admission tickets for the World Cup event. During the first release last week, 220,000 tickets were snapped up within hours. Those looking for an enhanced experience can purchase premium tickets. Those run for between $100 and $300. Canadian hip-hop artist Drake staging an eye-catching display in Toronto to promote the release of Iceman and 2 other albums. A massive 10-minute-long fireworks display from Harbourfront Centre lit up the night sky as part of a live stream to promote the Toronto Raptors' latest musical adventure. And using 75 projectors, the CN Tower was lit up in icy blue to visually freeze it. Hundreds of fans had gathered at the base of the tower in anticipation of Drake's latest promotional event. Shania Twain will be co-hosting one of country's music's biggest nights. David Daniel on tonight's Hollywood Report.
The biggest names in country take the stage this weekend at the Academy of Country Music Awards. This year's host is the legendary Shania Twain, who says she wants to make the performers feel relaxed and comfortable.
But it can be very, very stressful for the nominees and the artists, right? So I feel my role is to represent fun, a good time, and be a cheerleader.
The 61st ACM Awards stream live from Las Vegas Sunday on Prime Video.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff, and...
Ben Stiller is staying busy. The actor and director is set to star in the Netflix film A Matter of Time. It's about an unlikely angel who's sent to convince a reclusive man to give up his life for the good of society. No word on a release date for the project. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Manufacturing sales were up in March, coming in at over $73 billion. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez reports.
Petroleum and coal products did the heavy lifting, with sales totaling $9.4 billion. That's almost a 23% gain from February. The number of sales didn't rise, but prices were up because of the disruption in the Middle East. Sales of transportation equipment are also up 6% in March. Clothing gained over 9%. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar ended the week at 72.86. West Texas Intermediate up over $4 to 105.42. Western Canadian Select is up to 80.35. And the TSX lost over 400 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold is down $110.16, closing the day at $45.40.89 US an ounce. Silver down 7.44 cents. Copper down 13 cents, and nickel also down today 14 cents, ending the day at $8.41 US a pound. Rick is back now for one last look at the weather.
Rain in the forecast for overnight and continuing tomorrow, at least 40% chance for tomorrow as we get your long weekend underway. Chance of showers, 20 in Greater Sudbury, 22 in Timmins, more of the same, 40% chance of showers. Risk of, a thunderstorm, Sault Ste. Marie and Timmins, 18 in the Soo. Chance of showers, once again, this story very familiar throughout the Northeast. North Bay, 16, Parry Sound, 18, and Temiskaming Shores, 20 with the risk of a thunderstorm. So perhaps a wet start. Things will get better by Sunday and warmer, Ian. So that's my picture. You got to run with it.
Thanks so much, Rick. Before we go, we've got a quick programming note to let you know about. We've got a CTV News special presentation airing on Monday, where we'll be taking a look back on some of the more positive and fun news stories we focused on in the last few months. We may even have an interview with a professional football player hosted by myself. It's a special we're calling The Good News. You can catch it here on CTV at 6 and 11:30. You can also watch it on Crave and find it online. Finally for us tonight, North Bay is out with its new tourism campaign, and let's just say it's the definition of tongue-in-cheek.
North Bay, gateway of the North. Where's the gate? And what is it the gateway?
The video entitled Nothing, Nowhere, Everywhere is the idea of Tourism North Bay. It goes on to say North Bay has absolutely nothing. There's their words, not mine. Nothing but sandy beaches, nothing but clear blue skies, and nothing but crystal waters. Officials say the idea highlights the people, the Northern Ontario way of life, and let's face it, confidence. It's the first release in a 2026 seasonal rollout with fall and winter installments expected. Very cool. What a great thing for North Bay to do, and who doesn't love a summer in North Bay along Lake Nipissing for sure. That's our newscast this Friday night. On behalf of all of us here at CTV Northern Ontario, we hope you have a wonderful and safe May-long weekend. A happy Victoria Day. I'll see you Monday night for that CTV News special, and we'll all see you here Tuesday night back at the desk. Amanda is in tonight for me at 11:30. Make sure you tune in. Until then, thanks for watching. Good night.
My tight pants, got my tight pants on. Everybody's looking at my tight pants. Got my tight pants, got my tight pants on. Everybody's talking about our tight pants. We got our tight pants, we got our tight pants on. We're the only couple wearing tight pants. We got our tight pants. Got our tight pants on. We can dance over here, we can dance over there. We can walk down the street and everybody stares at our tight pants. We're the only ones. Everyone in town loves my tight pants. I got my tight pants. I got my tight pants on. No one else around is wearing tight pants. I got my tight pants. I got my tight pants on. Whoa! Slow down there, compadre.